Happy full moon, people. I hope that you all are having a wonderful day. I hope that this full moon is encouraging you to rebel against structures and systems that would choose and decide to displace you. I hope that you rebel against the systems and structures that you've set up in your own life. And while we're all being inspired by the people of Maui as they showed out and showed resistance in the face of colonialist and colonialism, I hope that it inspires you people across the world to also rebel and to rip up in the faces of your own oppressors and the lands where you find yourself on, to rip up the bullshit that they are forcing you to take. I hope that the imagery coming out of Maui encourages you to rebel against the systems that are desiring to oppress you, while you convince and gaslight yourselves into thinking that they are going to change because you desire for it to change. I hope that the people of Maui stokes your rebellion in a way that you say no more in the faces of your governments. Happy full moon. May the resistance and the rebellion of the ancestors of every indigenous land and every indigenous person across this diaspora raises up. And may they teach you to stop being pussy. Matter of fact, I'm sorry, because the divine feminine is too powerful for that. May they teach you to stop being as weak as men. Peace.
E ono ngā pōti e whakahe. Kawana! Ka whakamanu whiriti a koe au! Kamate, kamate,
The House is suspended until the ringing of the bells. The gallery is to be cleared.
Being a front runner in a lot of this work, people want to dismiss the truth that I speak as anecdotal. If I don't have a scientific database where I can prove that what I've experienced is true for so many people, then it's not true. So the epistemological sea of forgetfulness is when people take truth that hurts, truth that goes to the core of the being, truth that goes to the marrow of the bone, and people want to say, if you can't prove it scientifically, factually, then it doesn't exist. So what I try to encourage people to do is that kind of truth that stings like a serpent's tooth, that kind of truth that makes your teeth itch, the kind of truth that causes some people to lose their minds up in here. So even when people call your truth a lie, tell it anyway. Tell it anyway.
The most disrespected person in America is the black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the black woman. The most neglected person in America is the black woman.
Issues that black women have uniquely is being a part of oppressed people and also addressing an oppression.
this thing about, we can struggle at this level, but we can't free the women. We can free the race, but somehow we can't free the women, became such a clear dichotomy that, that folks just couldn't get down with that anymore.
Not only have we been oppressed in a racist society, but the whole system is, and the ideology is wrong because it's based in a male point of view. And we're talking about ego. We're talking about the male ego, which that in itself is, is a heavy subject.
And keep in mind, these were written early in the 90s, but I think they apply forever, actually. This first one, I have a character in the books who is, someone who is taking the country fascist and who manages to get elected president, and who oddly enough comes from Texas. And here is one of the things that my character is inspired to write about this sort of situation. She says, choose your leaders with wisdom and forethought. To be led by a coward is to be controlled by all that the coward fears. To be led by a fool is to be led by the opportunists who control the fool. To be led by a thief is to offer up your most precious treasures to be stolen. To be led by a liar is to ask to be lied to. To be led by a tyrant is to sell yourself and those you love into slavery. And there's one other that I thought I should read because I see it happening so much. I got the idea for it when I heard someone answer a political question with a political slogan. And he didn't seem to realize that he was quoting somebody. He seemed to have thought that he had a creative thought there. And I wrote this verse. Beware, all too often we say what we hear others say. We think what we are told that we think. We see what we are permitted to see. Worse, we see what we are told that we see. Repetition and pride are the keys to this. To see and to hear even an obvious lie again and again and again may be to say it, almost by reflex, then to defend it because we have said it, and at last to embrace it because we've defended it, and because we cannot admit that we've embraced and defended an obvious lie. Thus, without thought, without intent, we make mere echoes of ourselves, and we say what we hear others say. Just one more comment on the human condition, I guess.
The police the same way. They put their club upside your head and then turn around and accuse you of attacking them. Every case of police brutality against a Negro follows the same pattern. They attack you, bust you all upside your mouth, and then take you to court and charge you with assault. What kind of democracy is that? What kind of freedom is that? What kind of social or political system is it when a black man has no voice in court, has nothing on his side other than what the white man chooses to give him?
I'm trying to figure out which one belongs to the CIA. Nick, it was once one of the only places we could run to for safety when we started to work in Mississippi in 1961 and 62. So that it's sort of like coming home when we come back to Tuvalu. Now I want you to, before I begin, to take a look at all of the pressmen before you. You will notice that not one of them are black. And they are going to have the nerve tomorrow to call me a racist. Are you hearing? races are, they don't recognize their own racism. I understand that I'm following the great white father, Bobby Kennedy. I understand last night he told you a couple of things. Now I want to put some of them in perspective for you. When he said the world belongs to you, that comes from a great black man by the name of Frederick Douglass. He said the world belongs to the youth. Secondly, I understand that Bobby urged us to stand up and speak out against injustice. Well, we could tell him that we don't need anybody to tell us to stand up anymore. Not only are we going to stand up, we're going to right the wrongs of our people in this generation. Our generation has the memories of the unpunished murders of Schwerny, Goodney, and of Medgar Evers. There are going to be no more unpunished murders. They've been telling you that the kids in Nashville started a riot. Number one, you ought to recognize it is not a riot, it is a rebellion. A rebellion. And number two, you ought to be proud of your black brothers and sisters at Fifth, because a honky cop touched one of them and they told him you got to touch all of us.